Take you through the usual sketch, what happens with people, and this was probably most of us at 18 years old. So we skip the training bit, so we'll go, let's do a bit of bench. We'll go, let's eat a bit of food, not really ask what it is, and then we'll go straight to steroids. Okay, straight to performance-enhancing drugs. Who can relate? For sure. Yeah? So we do a little bit of benching. We'll eat a bit of food, not really paying much attention to what's going on. And we'll go straight to taking anabolics. Okay? Which, as you know now, going through the stages is probably the wrong way to go about it and not the most useful task. Okay? There's a reason that we've put it in this order. Okay? There's a reason that supplements is down the list. Okay? Because it isn't the most important part, and it shouldn't take up most of your focus when it comes to this whole muscle building process. But we cannot and we must not neglect the fact that supplements play a huge role in building muscle, especially for those at the top end bodybuilding. Drug use is extremely high, okay? But for most of us in this room now, one, it doesn't need to be, or it might never ever need to be part of your routine. Okay, but it's important to know that the people that you see on Instagram, the big bodybuilders, there is a lot of drug use. Probably things that we've never even heard of before. Okay, so when it comes to supplements, we want to be thinking about why is it that we need them and what is it going to give us? Okay, so who here is using supplements currently and what are they? And why do we think we're using them? Creatine? Yeah, and what's that for? What did you decide to use it for? Because the coach said so. Yeah, that makes sense. Good choice. Creatine?
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D and fish oil? Yeah, and what are you doing that for generally?
For immune system and obviously
immune system and joints. And what positive impact is that going to have on your training if your immune system is better and your joints feel better? What can we do because of that? We can train harder, we can recover harder. And everything that the lads have gone through today, we know that consistency is key. So taking supplements to make sure that we don't get ill and make sure our joints aren't too sore is going to help us train harder for longer. And we're going to get the results we need. Anybody else? Whey protein. Why do we take whey protein? It's easy to get a shake in, isn't it? It's easy to hit a protein goal when we put it into a drink. Very easy.
Windows, isn't it? Post-training.
Windows post-training. So, yeah. So, supplements, I definitely got the use. Anybody else? Any other supplements going on that you're taking? No? Pump stuff? Yeah, so taking things before a workout, caffeine or pump stuff. And the pump stuff is usually like nitric oxide stuff, beetroot type stuff. And what that does is it expands the veins and expands the blood flow so that you can target it into the muscle a lot better. Okay? Whilst we was talking about the programming side of things, increasing strength and getting stronger on the bar, there's a huge side of things as well that cellular swelling helps as well, okay, in muscle growth. And whatever's in the blood at that time as well is going to help you grow, repair, etc. So we have a strength side of things to grow muscle, and then there is a pump side of things that got ignored years ago. Nobody ever took note of that years and years ago. The bodybuilders were onto that. They didn't know why they were onto it, but it just felt better and they got more muscle growth when they had more swelling in the area. Okay? So pump stuff works as well.
Like you're saying, Andy, about skipping the steps, so if you're taking a pump pre-workout, there's no nutrients in your bloodstream. It's pointless.
Yeah.
If you skip the stage, you're not doing it.
For sure, it doesn't work anyway. Yeah. The main thing is with supplements, okay, is understanding that they are to supplement either your diet or to give you a reason to perform better. Okay? And there is a million supplements. If we used to just open our phones now and Google muscle building supplements, we get flooded. The supplement market is just so heavily sales based. Okay? And a lot of supplements don't have the research to back up the claims that they make most of the time.
Different types of creatine, different types. And then you've got some that are really expensive, just creatine stuff like that.
Exactly that. And most of us in the room won't spend our time looking through the PubMed where all the research is because we don't really care. We just want to get better. Okay. And the supplement people, the companies, they know that. Okay. So if they can find any little bit of research to prove that what the supplement does says it does, they're just going to hone in on that and they're going to sell.
Generally, they fund the study as well.
And they funded the study. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, we'll pay for this study to be done to show it works. Okay, brilliant. Okay. So when it comes to your supplement regime, you want to be thinking about what you want most out of it and what it's going to give you. Because like anything, consistency is going to be key. Now, we would use whey protein for ease, just to get your protein in. If you're struggling to get your protein goal in, if you're not eating enough meat or if you're not getting enough protein in, a scoop of whey protein is going to add to that. Okay. If you need immediate protein after you work out and you're not too hungry, like Johnny was saying sometimes, and when Zach was talking about really ramping your calories high and you don't want to eat after you work out, whey protein is a very easy way to get a shake, to get your protein in through a shake. Yeah. Now, what other supplements are going through your guys' heads now that you think might be worthwhile discussing before we go deeper into it? Any supplements where you've gone, do you know what, I might try that, or I might try that. That looks good and that looks good.
You've heard of CMOS?
CMOS, yeah? Yeah. There is so many. There is so many. Creatine is a fuel source that we use when training, and when we train, the fuel source gets depleted. So when we intake it, it fills that store up. As long as you have it, as long as you have it in the day. As long as you have it in the day. But again, like any decision made, you want to think about, Gaz is a client of mine, we always talk about this, making this decision right now, what other impact is that going to have positively on your day? So for example, it doesn't matter when creatine is taken, but if you took it first thing in the morning, what else are you going to do first thing in the morning as well as doing that? Do you understand? If you taken it first thing in the morning and then, go on then, I'll just make my food as well and I'll just prep an organization. So every decision that you make, if you can have another good 3 or 4 decisions off the back of that, that's going to be the best time to take your supplement. Providing that there isn't a best time to take the supplement. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah? Like D3, creatine, just get it in. There you go. That's only going to breed more consistency. It's only going to breed better decisions. Yeah? Now, we always say as a basics, okay, we'll go through the basics of supplements. Okay? Whey protein, creatine, vitamin D are always going to be the 3 supplements that we always recommend in anybody's, and some fish oil, 4 fish oil. Okay, we're always going to recommend those. 1, because we know that they work. Okay, it's proven that them supplements do work and they do exactly what they say on the tin. We know that they work. And 2, it's covering all of your bases: performance, immune system, joints. Okay, that is the main focus that we're always going to go for. Okay. Now, when it comes to like greens and other things like that, you're going to utilize other drinks and micronutrients. If you've got a diet that is rich in vegetables, etc., do you really need green drinks? Not really. Not really. But if you do drink it, what else are you going to do as well as? Okay, so when you're thinking about supplements, what else might I do if I do have this supplement as well? Just don't fall into the trap of the marketing and thinking, go on, I'm going to buy all of these anyway because it's just going to make me better. A lot of the time it doesn't. Okay. The main thing that we're looking for as men, okay, is to maximize our testosterone. Okay. We know that muscle building is directly linked to increasing your testosterone. Okay. Now, without doing blood tests, you're never going to know truly if your testosterone is high or low. Some signs that it will be low might be what? How might you feel if your testosterone is low? Does anybody know?
Watch EastEnders.
You watch EastEnders? On Love Island? Your missus ain't getting a twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, you give up your platinum membership.
Yeah.
You've been there, haven't you?
Yeah. Literally, lazy. Tired, lazy, unmotivated. Now, there are a series of factors that might underpin that before it's testosterone. Your testosterone might be fine, but you might not be training at all, or you might be training too much. That can affect testosterone negatively. Your nutrition might be absolutely pants. It might be terrible. That's why you're tired. Okay, that's why you feel lethargic. That's why you're not motivated. So this is why we go down this way. If you're not training very well and your food's really bad and you're not sleeping very well, that might be the main reason why. Now, either that is having an effect on your testosterone, it might not. You might just feel rubbish. Okay, this is why we have to go in this sequence, tick all of these boxes before we even decide, is testosterone low and do we need to maximize it? Has anybody had a blood test before that checks the testosterone? No one had a blood test? So some of you might be sat here now with extremely high levels of testosterone, and some of you might be on the floor. So what is the protocol for, I now have low testosterone? Let's assume you all have. Looking at this order now, what can you do to increase your testosterone? Looking at the order of what we need to work in before we even decide to take any supplements that increases testosterone. So I'd be sat at the back now and I'd be thinking, right, I need to improve my sleep a little bit better because we know that that's going to help. So everybody's got their own little vibe right now that they need to be thinking, right, well, to really maximize testosterone, I've got some things to implement here. I've definitely got some things here and here before we even think about taking supplements to increase our testosterone. Yeah?
I know for me personally, when sleep goes down the swanny, testosterone's going right down the swanny with it. Morning wood disappears, just a little limpy in the morning, not even thinking about sex. As soon as that drops off for a period of time, it's massive on it. It's massive on it. Obviously, there's other factors, but for me personally, I'll notice the biggest drop off when that's gone.
We know as males, as we get older, testosterone drops, and we would say, not to go too crazy about it, but it is a pandemic of low testosterone in males. It is actually a problem. Low muscle mass and low testosterone in males is at the highest it's ever been. And that is the biggest indicator of death when we're older, is muscle mass. If you can hold on to muscle mass as you get older, your increases of death decline on a huge level. So as men, we need to make sure that we're protecting our muscle mass and using or implementing as many strategies as we can to make sure that testosterone is higher. Yeah? If any of you have taken testosterone before, you will know the difference of when you are on it and when you are off it. If you've taken testosterone, you are up and you're like a raging bull. Okay? Literally, you're fucking chewing people, you know? You're waking up biting your pillow, you know? It's that bad. So, but if you haven't, you'll never really know the difference between it, and it is a subtle rise that we're going to be after. Okay? Now, let's think about pre and post-workout supplements. So we've got our daily supplements that we all recommend. Like I said, whey protein when you need it. Vitamin D3 is always a good one of ours. We recommend creatine for sure. What about pre and post-workout? Who takes something before and after a workout? Yeah? Yeah, so caffeine. We'll talk about supplements for the workout window now, rather than your daily supplements. So caffeine before a workout 100% helps, depending on the workout and duration. Yeah? So if you're going to be running a marathon, this is a muscle building talk. If you're going to be running a marathon, do you want to be banging caffeine straight on day one? And if you do we need to continue taking caffeine throughout? Yes, probably. So when it comes to a weightlifting situation in the gym, we're probably not going to go over the hour-and-a-half mark. So whatever you're going to be drinking or taking pre-workout, you want to make sure that it sustains you throughout the workout. I've made mistakes before. I've gone too high caffeine pre, and there is a massive crash halfway through the workout. A huge crash halfway through the workout. Now remember what we're trying to achieve in the workout, which we're going to feel in a second. Yeah? What we're trying to achieve in the workout is get through the entire session with precise focus, intensity. So if you're taking too much caffeine pre-workout, you might end up either not getting too hyper and too much that you can't concentrate, because I've done that before. Oh yeah. So there's brain stimulants as well. There's pretty much nothing that we haven't done before. Okay. Which is why I think it qualifies us to stand here and talk about it.
I can't work out. There's like, say, get stimulating to a point you can't come up with brain. You've got trial and error, what's the right amount of stimulant prior to it.
Stimulants, you have to find your tolerance. You've got to find your tolerance to it. Like the whole theme of today, you've got to find what works best for you. Caffeine pre-workout does help. Okay?
Think on what shift I'm on with it. If I'm on early, I train like 2 o'clock, so I'll have some caffeine before I train. If I'm on late, I train early, so I'll be that kind.
That's brilliant, and it's something that you should all really take note on, is what time you train at. Because if you're training at 7 p.m. at night, do you want to be banging in 300 milligrams of caffeine before your workout? Probably not. Why? Because it's going to impact on the recovery in our sleep. So if you're training late at night, you might want to think about avoiding very high stimulants. Maybe take something that's very subtle, or avoid it completely, because you might have enough food in the system. Or do we take a pump product? Do we take something else to give us a little bit of an edge. The whole point of taking something before a workout is to what? Give us more focus and give us energy to sustain the workout. Not everybody needs a pre-workout. It's not a necessity at all. Can it give you a little bit more? Yes, but it's not needed at all. You take pre, anything.
Because anything past, even if I was to have a pre-workout at like 3 in the afternoon, my sleep would be affected. It just seems to stay in that.
Baldy's drinking coffee at 10 at night with his steak.
My tolerance isn't that high, so I know that hurt my sleep now.
Yeah.
But caffeine's 5 and 6 hours into your system. So, you know, even if you're going to bed 9, for example, usually, like coffee at 5, that's way into sleeping window that it can fetch you. You might get off to sleep, but getting into that deep restorative sleep would be difficult if you've had too much caffeine, too close to it.
Yeah. Brain stimulants. I'm a big advocate of making sure that the brain is switched on without it increasing the heart rate. When I increase my heart rate too high, I make bad decisions in the training. I rush too much, I don't take my rest. I put too much weight on too soon just because I'm excited and I'm stimulated. It's just too much. So I always think about what can I give my brain without giving my heart rate too much. And that's where some brain nutrients come in. Alpha GPC, lion's mane, and those kind of products. They can give you an edge in terms of your brain, but without affecting your heart rate too much. Okay? They say that they're best for more strength-based training rather than muscle pump and bodybuilding style higher rep training.
Well, go on there. Is it nootropics?
Nootropics.
Yeah.
So I recommend trying them, would you? As an individual?
100% you should try nootropics. Yeah, they definitely help, especially earlier on in the morning. Again, like anything towards the end of the night, you don't want to be taking too much in. You don't want your brain to be like this at night time, like limitless, counting numbers in your sleep. You know.
A lot of pre-workouts have a blend of them in, won't they? They'll be
They do now, don't they?
Yeah,
They do now.
yeah. Post-workout or during workout, who drinks or takes anything during a workout and why?
It depends what I'm doing, but obviously it's quite intense and the weather's warm and stuff like that. And it's wet. It's supposed to need electrolytes and stuff like that.
Electrolytes, yeah. Anybody else take electrolytes? I think electrolytes are one of the most underused supplements in muscle building. In endurance sports, I think they're quite widely known that if we're going to be running or cycling for quite a while, you should be taking on electrolytes because of sweat. But you'll be surprised how much use they have in a muscle building environment. If you look at most pre-workouts, if you look at a can of Monster, how much sodium is in a can of Monster? 500 milligrams, 400 milligrams. There's a lot of sodium. Have a look. Let's have a look. If you just check sodium per 500 mil. 500 milligrams of sodium. What gives us a big pump? Electrolytes gives us a big pump just as much as any other would do, any other nitric product. Okay, if we're hydrated and we know there is water, salts, okay, in the blood, your pumps are going to be crazy. And your sustainability to complete reps is going to be a lot higher. You want to think about what is going to give us the most energy in the muscle, not just the brain, in the muscle for your workouts. And sodium is one of them. Electrolytes are one of them. And that's when, if you're in a calorie restrictive phase, if you're in a dieting phase, it's a good way to get a pump because there's no food in the blood. There's no calories in the body. The only thing we've got is chemicals, right? Or nutrients and micronutrients because you ain't allowed no calories. So electrolytes are a really good way to do that. Diurolite, you know when you have the shits? Diurolite, you put a packet of that in your pre-workout. In water, you'll have a great session.
I was about to say, who's had the shits before? Everyone?
Yeah.
So when you've lost it all, how strong do you feel? How energized do you feel? You feel wank, don't you? So you get your water in, you get diurolites in, and you come straight back up again. And it's the same with training, performance and electrolytes. Carryover is massive. It only seems to be bodybuilding that aren't onto electrolytes. Every other sport in the world is onto it because it's massive.
Yeah.
Don't neglect them.
It's starting to become more of a thing now. Electrolytes are absolutely key.
Not during workout or?
Well, the question was, what do you have during? If you take it, because the duration usually isn't too long, you want to start drinking it before you get started. Otherwise, you'll be drinking it halfway through your session and you'll be done in half an hour. So electrolytes, drink them before you set off because your workouts. Oh yeah, you'll have a good pump before you start. Yeah, because of the duration of the workout, it's not that long. Just start drinking them before you get started. Definitely. Anybody else drink anything or take anything during the workout? So we've got electrolytes, water. Yeah. The key is that you get everything that you need in prior. Okay. BCAAs, okay, is just pretty much to flavor your water. If you're eating enough protein for the day, is it going to give you much of an edge drinking amino acids in your workout? Not really, but it'll flavor your water. And again, is that going to make you drink more water? If it makes you drink more water, then that's the goal. Put a scoop in and just drink it because your hydration is going to be better because of it. Not because the actual amino acids are going to give you that much. If you're eating, especially if you're in a calorie surplus, it ain't going to give you that much. But if you're only drinking 1 liter of water and then your coach says, listen, put a scoop of that in and drink it during your session, and then you're drinking 2 liters of water for the day, that's a bonus from a hydration perspective. Not so much that the electrolytes had any, the amino acids had that much benefit, but you're drinking more water as a result of it. Yeah. Carbohydrate powders. Has anybody used carb powders before? No? In what circumstance did you use them and why? When you're pushing high calorie intake and you're struggling to get your food in, you can drink your carbohydrates during your session. And when you can combine carbohydrates and electrolytes, it is a great mixture, okay, to increase your performance in the session and increase your total amount of carbs for the day as a result, because we've got so many carbohydrates, because your calories are off the chart. Drinking your calories and drinking your carbohydrates during your session is going to help as well. Which one was it? HBCD? Cyclodextrin? Maltodextrin? Yeah.
I actually never did very well because I used to peak my blood sugar so high and end up having a hypo in the car.
Yeah. You have to be careful. You have to be careful with the amount again. And these are like, remember, look at the order that it's in. We're talking about the 1% now. We're talking about 1%. If there is 3 things that we need to implement here, don't worry too much about this just yet. Get these implemented first consistently, and then we're going to look at it. The basics are always going to be the basics. Support your immune system, support your joints. That'll give us longevity. Pre, post, during is just that extra once you've got everything else. Because if you have a really bad night's sleep, having a scoop of pre-workout isn't going to give you much. It's only going to make you worse if you have to keep doing that. You're just going to get tired and more tired and more tired and more fatigued. So we fix it here. You won't need it as much here. Yeah? Post-workout, what does anybody take post-workout?
Protein shake.
Shake? It's the most common, isn't it? It is the most common. It's to just get a fast delivery of whey protein. And then we usually eat our carbohydrates as well as that. Our usual setup is there's a post-workout meal or drink, and then we have a meal following that, not too short after that. Okay? Could you just eat it? You probably could, yeah. If you eat quick enough, you could probably just have your food and not even need a shake. But we do it because it's so much easier, and we don't really fancy going home tucking into chicken and rice 10 minutes after you've finished. It's easy, it's in the car, you just go home, you drink it, and it's job done. We know that you've got a fast delivery of nutrients post-workout. When is the best time to take on anything supplement-wise, would you say? Post-workout. If you think about it, when you've had a little go downstairs and when you've trained hard, your body is going to be screaming for nutrients. That's probably the best time to take on your calories, your carbohydrates, and your protein for sure. We always say keep fat away from the post-workout window so nothing slows down with digestion, and you just go straight in with protein and carbs. This is why if any of you have followed a plan before, that's when you might get your treats. That's when you might get your sugary stuff. You're going to get a jam and bagel, you're going to get some cereal, you're going to get some of the nice fun stuff because your body's going to accept it. It's probably the best at that point, and it's usually higher in sugars. Yeah? Okay, so PEDs, okay, steroids and all that kind of stuff. Now, we honestly, as coaches, we do not recommend and push that anybody uses them because of this order, okay? If somebody walks in and goes, Andy, right, I want to get juiced up, I want to get on all this, I want to do this, and we're just going to go, 1 second, can you just show us your training plans for the last 2 years? Can you show me your diet for your last 2 years? And can you show me how you structure your recovery for the last 2 fucking years. Not 10 weeks, 2 years. We want to know what you've been doing. Because otherwise you don't really warrant the use for that. It really is just useless. If you skip all these stages, nothing will last. Habits will not have been built. You wouldn't have learned anything about your body. You wouldn't have learned anything about nutrients, your training, anything like that. Okay? So we always say you have to warrant the use for this. And like we've been saying, most of us, we're not pro bodybuilders. We're not going to get paid for it. Okay? It's not our lifestyle. It's not what we're all about. So is there going to be any use for anabolic steroids? Was it?
Yeah, so when I had a did a lot of training, I was training the gym I went to, everybody was doing it. So then like people I was training with were doing it. So
Yeah.
more, it didn't look like I went to the gym. I was getting stronger, obviously. But then I also I got blood clots. I don't know if that were it, but I had liver, lungs and heart.
I fucked you up.
So I was for about a month. I couldn't walk or anything.
Right, that's bad, yeah. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
if I was enough about it, I should have never done it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very strong, whatever you took. Of course, yeah. That's how it always starts off. Exactly, that's how it always starts off. When we was 18, me and Zach went over to Leeds when we was powerlifting for so long. There was no blood work. There was no professional. It was, come on, let's go in the changing rooms now. And it was like, boom, have some of this. You didn't know what it was. You didn't know anything about it. Okay? Very, very bad culture to be into. Luckily now, body. Yeah.
If I walked to the street, walk down the street, 10 minutes, I was fucked.
Yeah. Luckily, bodybuilding over the last, I'd say, 5 years, maybe a bit longer, has become very, very health conscious, and everything is monitored by blood. Everybody is monitored very, very closely. And all the top guys that you see will be doing exactly the same. There are risks, okay? There are risks. Maybe not as severe as that. In some cases, it sounds terrible. But there are risks to anything, okay? And especially when it comes to drug use, when it comes to anabolic steroids, there is a huge risk that you have to consider. You either consider the risk and you try and do everything you can to mitigate them risks through health supplements, or there's just no point at all. But now we're all sat here going, but Andy, you've told me we need to maximize our testosterone. We do. So the question is, how do we maximize our testosterone as men without having to take anabolic steroids? That is the biggest question, and how can we achieve that? Because most of us, it's too invasive. There's no real benefit long-term to it, because once you start, you're probably never going to want to stop because of the benefits and everything that it has on it. There is risks. So what position are we all in now where it's like, well, what can we do, Andy? What can we do? Well, we've told you what you need to do with your training, your nutrition, your recovery, your basics. It's like, okay, what if testosterone does not increase from that point onwards? Because we know that it's very, very key to increase your testosterone. There are some supplements and herbs now that have been tested more closely to show that it has a positive side effect on male testosterone. Okay, you might want to get your pens out and write these down. So, testosterone. Testosterone, it sounds like a steroid, but it's not. I'll write it on the board for you boys, yeah, when we come up. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll write it on the board for you boys, yeah? So, testosterone, okay? I've written down here so I didn't forget. Cistench, Tonga Ali, Fadoja, and of course vitamin D and creatine always have a good impact, okay? So there are some herbs out there which we'll write on the board on this right-hand side in a second that are showing really positive results on male testosterone increasing.
Who's that?
Without, yeah, there's a few funny spellings on there. It's all right, we'll write them on the board, mate, it's fine. It shows that there is some real positive effects on testosterone from using these kind of herbs, okay? That are legit as well, not just a company that are trying to sell you some testosterone boosters. None of them work, I promise you that. None of them do. T-boost, testosterone boosters. It just does not work unless they contain these things, okay? The best thing for testosterone, sleep. Best thing for testosterone, decent protein intake, red meat. Okay, what anybody says, red meat, high protein, a good sleep.
My sleep doesn't change at all. I'm testing with your brand of limit, but I eat a lot of red meat, the other thing, almost sleep you got, mainline fully.
If we was to say the male formula, if we was to write a male formula, it would be lift heavy weights, sleep very, very good, eat a lot of protein, and have plenty of sex.
And all them things are study backed, aren't they? It's not.
Yeah,
It's not just.
this isn't just us like trying to shy you away from everybody going, I really want to take some gear. Like, that's not the case. These things,
More information on it now.
yeah.
Just spoke to a mate, you went, well, I'm on this, just have this book.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I just don't think it's even up for discussion unless you've gone through this whole process. It's really not, you know, and I personally would be a hypocrite to say you shouldn't do it when I've done it my entire life, my whole life from being 18 years old. So I can tell you from first hand what it's like to take and then not take, etc. So, you know, I'm not going to be a hypocrite to say none of you should do it when I've done it on and off my entire life throughout my, you know, lifting career, etc. So if I was sat in your position, and I wish I was when I was 18 years old, I would have made sure that that process was absolutely flawless, including this, before I even made the decision. And I would measure. I would make sure that testosterone is being measured. There are a lot more less invasive ways as well. You can get patches. So if we're a male, 35, going up to 40, and you're concerned about your testosterone, see a professional. Like, you don't need to listen to the gym guy. You don't need to listen to the guy in the changing rooms that says, yeah, take a bit of this. There is services now, and there are ways to get your blood work checked to make sure that actually, if you do have low testosterone, there's a place to go and it can help. You can get patches, you can get drops. It doesn't need to be that dirty word of come to the gym, you know, go behind the gym desk and they'll get you something like it used to be back in the day. It's just not like that anymore. You can take things to increase testosterone and have it monitored by a doctor professionally. Because if you're not monitoring, you're just guessing and just hoping for the best.
I've got an older client. I was 50, and he had really enough low testosterone levels, and he works with a clinic in Cheshire. And they monitor everything starting. Yeah, you know, he's been unreal, like his physique, his mood. He was like, what? He was in state of depression because his testosterone levels were so low, and he's with them every month. They're sending blood tests, they're sending the drugs that he needs, and everything's monitored to keep him healthy and keep his levels to where they would be naturally. It's massive, yeah.
Is there anywhere more locally that we know that does that?
It's all online anyway. Online, they're sending up the post and speak to the doctor on the phone and everything. So yeah, there's a few services like that.
It's key that you do get that monitoring if you are concerned about your testosterone, or if you're looking to really push your physical boundaries, because we cannot deny, we've been in the circles where you haven't been. Drug use is rife in professional sport. It really is, and we can't deny that. It actually is rife, okay? Every athlete under the sun is doing something to increase their performance because they are pro athletes, and there's a lot of things, there's a deal on the line, there's positions. And when you get a person that cares so much about winning, they're going to do anything they can to get that, okay? So for what it means to us, remember why we sat here from a muscle building perspective. We want to gain muscle. We want to get stronger. You don't need to delve into them circles, but we can do everything that we can to increase your testosterone naturally. And then you can go to your doctor and get monitored after that if you need to, and have it all really clear. We've seen, like we said, we've got clients that have been doing that exact same thing with unbelievable results. In the UK, generally speaking, it's a taboo topic that nobody talks about, is low testosterone in men. You go to other countries, we've been on courses all the way around the world, and they openly talk about it all the time like it is a huge problem. In the UK, it's all masked. It's not even in conversations. You know, we're on an obesity pandemic, not a low testosterone. People think it's just obesity. It's like, no, there is a lot of men walking around with super low levels of testosterone that are not feeling and looking and performing at their best, even outside of the gym. Like Johnny said, mood, personality, decision-making, everything is linked to low testosterone. Everything, okay? But we have to make sure that it's done correctly if you are going to go down that route and get a doctor, let everybody check your levels, and they do it right from that.
99% of people, if they go through that process of correcting the training, nutrition, recovery, you feel 100 times better anyway, and that's never even needs to be addressed. We don't even get to that stage here.
Most of the time, you'll never need to address it with testosterone therapy. If we can get this right, you'll never ever need to go across that line into testosterone therapy and be monitored by a doctor. You can take some of this stuff on the right hand side here, the testosterone, the Fedoja or the Tonkat, and we'll know exactly them kind of things. We'll be doing the job correctly. Yeah, any questions on that? We appreciate it's a bit of a sensitive subject when it comes to PEDs.
And then you still feel.
Listen, yeah, like if you was having really poor sleep and you were eating that much food and the protein was quite low, but you decided to take the supplements anyway, is it going to work? I don't know, but it's for me in my mind, it's like I don't want to risk it wasting money, and I'm going to be taking something there that I'm really not maximizing anyway. We always say whichever phase that you're in, make sure you get the most out of it. If you're looking to build muscle, try your best to tick all of these boxes. And as we go down, it does warrant the use of these supplements. Can you take these supplements anyway? Yeah, you can. Of course you can. And it will have some impact. But to get the most out of it, go bang, 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 get all these bang on, especially this and protein. You get these right, you lift some heavy weights, you know you're ticking at least these boxes. And then you might want to think about using the supplements as well.